I'd like for you to introduce yourself and tell a little bit about who you are.
Okay, I'd be delighted. So, I come from a very long line of dowsers. For those of you who are young, like you are, years ago, people didn't use engineering companies to find out where to dig for a well. They had a man that would walk the property with a crooked stick. And
Right.
when the stick started to point down, he'd say, There, that's where you dig for a well. In fact, 20 years ago, when I lived in the state of Vermont, we still had home phones and we had yellow pages. And in the yellow pages, there was a section for dowsers. In the 13th, 14th, 15th century in Italy, the men in my family were dowsers. You have to be an intuitive to be able to use a divining rod to walk on property and find out where to dig. But in that time, they were digging for not water wells. They were digging for mining, and they
Hmm.
were very, very well respected. Now, if the women did this, if the women talked to each other intuitively, they would be called strega and they could be stoned to death. So
Yeah.
the women had to be quiet about a lot of things, but the men, of course, used the intuition in order to do mining because it was all about making money.
Sure.
They would take the people, my relatives, my great 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 grandfathers, and put them on ships and send them to the north of Africa to find the mining for gold and silver and marble. And they were really well paid, very well respected people. Anyway, a lot of us in my family are clairvoyants. And so that means that we know things, we see things, we see pictures of things. I thought everybody was like me. And when I found out that everybody wasn't like me, I decided to go to college and learn psychology. So I have a degree in psychology and a master's degree also in psychology and a master's degree in metaphysics.
Hmm.
So I was hired by the United States Army, the United States State Department, and DIA, CIA. I've worked for all the agencies. I have become an intuitive, but also I was a psychologist. So I was working for lots of embassies. The my countries are Japan, Haiti, Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Morocco, and my last country was Canada.
Hmm.
So I've worked all over the world. I've worked for all the agencies. I've used my intuitive skill, but also as a therapist to work with people for people. And the little advantage I have is that I kind of know what's going on with a person. I don't have to have you lay on the couch for a year to figure out what's going on. So my work is, I would say, I'm going to call myself an intuitive coach. That's what I'm going to call myself.
Sure. Sure.
So that's my background.